Welcome to SongTellers, where singers and songwriters share the story behind their songs and perform them live. Today's guest is Stephen Valenzuela, a musician and songwriter whose musical style evolved from the raw energy of early 90s rock to the now intimate and heartfelt world of singer-songwriter music. Known for blending real-life stories with captivating melodies, Stephen draws inspiration from personal experiences and the world around him. His authenticity always rings true with an ever-present focus on storytelling, making his music resonate deeply with listeners across all genres. This is Stephen Valenzuela. I want to talk more about your background.
Okay.
You told me some cool stories about touring across across the world. But first, let's start with a song, and then we'll talk about that.
Okay, sounds good.
What do you want to dive into?
Let's see. What was that? I guess we can do the one that I sent you. It doesn't even really have a name. Like anytime somebody asks me,
Yeah.
I always sort of change the name. But that
What are the titles it goes by?
it's what would we do? Without love. I think without love is
Without Love
probably
is a good one, yeah.
probably.
When I heard it, that was
Yeah.
that's the first one,
That's
because that's
part-
like the tag,
Yeah.
for sure. And tell me about the story behind that one.
That one kind of it's. Sometimes when you write, or at least when I write, you write the song and then you don't know what you're writing about. It's just sort of free flowing words, kind of, word salad comes out, and then you sit down and then you, at least for me, I look back on it, change a couple words here. And then sometimes you figure out what it is you're writing about after you write it. It's like a little subconscious thing, it's kind of messy and doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense at the time. But I mean, I've had that song probably for 15 years. And it's never one that I put on an album or recorded or anything like that. It just always felt sort of out of place on certain albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was its own little thing, which is why I kind of like it. It's a little different than most of the other ones I do. But when I look back at it, I think it's just that I really believe that all songs start or end or intermingle with that sort of love premise.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's either you love something, so you're real happy about it, and you want to sing about it and do that kind of stuff, or you love something and it's just tearing you up, or not even with the person, but just with something you do, play music or whatever that is. So that love thing is the thing that drives. And I think that's kind of what this song is. I grew up, I'm a little older, right? So that first line of don't be seen, don't be heard kind of thing was something that I heard as a child, right? With your parents and that kind of stuff. Got people over just, be seen but heard. But I think as you go through life, there's people that will tell you that in reference to how you're feeling or what you think about something or, and then I think a lot of people just internalize that and then they just sit with it. But I think you need that love aspect of it in order to get that stuff out so that it doesn't sit in there kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that song is kind of about like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, let's check it out.
Don't be seen, don't be heard. Swear the words they spoke to me. Swear the words they spoke to me. Don't cause waves and don't bring pain. And fall in love. So love is a crying shame. But I gotta find my own way all through this world. It's the sound of a beautiful melody. It's the touch of a beautiful girl. But where would we be? Where would we be without love? Oh, 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 oh. Without love. Oh, 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 oh. Now, baby, please, don't be mad. I ain't trying to cause a scene. I just got to make my stand. You see, I believe some mountains are made to be moved. We'll say what we're gonna say. Times to do what we're told not to. You may be wrong, I may be right. There's only one way to find out. But take my hand, we'll jump ship tonight. But where would we be? Where would we be without love? Oh, 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 oh. Without love. Oh, 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 oh. Don't be seen, don't be heard. Swear the words they spoke to me. Swear the words they spoke to me. Don't cause waves, don't bring pain. I'm falling in love, so love is a crying shame.
You played in metal band or rock bands,
right? Rock bands. Mm-hmm.
You said you were heavily influenced by Guns N' Roses and other bands like the early
all
90s.
that 80s hair metal stuff.
Yeah,
Poison,
for sure.
White
Poison.
Snake.
Nice.
I think my first concert was Great White, which was pretty awesome.
Nice. And so you were touring as a guitarist?
I was singer. Yeah, I was a singer and guitar player for a band, and did that from as soon as I got out of high school, and then it was the same group of us for about 15 years together.
Wow, man.
And then so did that for a large chunk, 7-8 years. Toured around, played shows, made no money whatsoever, and then had a really good time.
Yeah,
a bunch of interesting stories. But then you get older, and then my wife at the time was pregnant, and we were playing 100 some odd shows a year, and then you can't do that and raise a family.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd be pretty smart and tell the label, hey, like, I'm not doing that much touring. Like, you're going to have to, send me home, every week or something like that. And they're like, cool, you're fired. So I got fired from my own band. And we had just finished another album, like in the can, ready to go. And I got fired. And then, but I had signed a deal that they retained the rights, to any other members of the band. I couldn't go release my own stuff. They got another singer.
Oh man, jeez.
And then I just sort of went home and couldn't really do anything.
Seriously, man.
Yeah.
Those deals, man. I mean, I was in a band. We had the same. For me, it was like around 2010 when we had some shots of getting signed, and that's when those 360 deals became super popular.
Yeah, just giving away everything.
Yeah, everything. And so, I mean, and we weren't making any money to begin with. I mean, it's pennies, like not covering the cost of like the touring and everything like that. So, I can't imagine the deals that they had when you were selling like tons and tons of albums and music. Like you're still the margins were just infinitesimal for the writers. It was crazy.
We never made it back. I mean, the amount of the advance, we never paid that amount back. It's a high interest loan.
It's like
it was really bad.
A racket if you think about it.
And you're selling albums for $10 a pop, but you're only getting $3 out of each one, and then that $3 has to repay the high interest loan. I mean, unless you're selling hundreds of thousands of albums, which we were not.
Right.
At least back then, we made money touring.
Yeah.
We didn't. It wasn't the 360 thing. So we could still
make money off of that.
Yeah.
How long until you could start writing your own stuff again? And like,
well, I could write my own stuff, but if I released anything, they could say, okay, you're still under contract with us, and then shelf it. And then so I had a song that I had written. They took it and it was shelved. I couldn't do anything with it. So it took another 3 years or so for that to go away.
So now
to where I could release stuff on my own, do whatever. Yeah,
that's great, man. That's a pain in the ass, right?
It is. It is a little pain in the ass.
What do you want? Let's do another song.
Okay.
What do you want to do next?
I'll do. Matter of fact, the song that I had wrote at the very end of the deal that I had. That album had been put in the can and we were done. And then we were all practicing, and I played this song, and then the record guy goes, "Oh, what is that song?" I was like, "Oh, it's just one that I wrote." He goes, "Oh, but you can't play it." But so they recorded it anyway and did stuff. But so this is that song. So I've had this song for like 20 years.
What's it called?
Wait for Me.
And what's the meaning? Tell me the story behind the song.
It's about so I wrote about 20 years ago, kind of that thing. When you're a young kid, you have that idea of what do I want to be. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to end up? I'm indestructible, but I'm not. Like I know everything, but I know nothing at all. Kind of song. And it's that kind of song. And there is an interesting part of this. And I have a friend of mine named Sunshine. there's a lyric in the song that says, I wait for friends I don't have to call. And when I wrote it as, I don't have any friends that I can call. She listened to it and it sounded like, I don't have to wait for friends to come. They'll just come. I don't have to call them. They'll just show up. And then it was kind of at that point, it's like, oh, okay. Well, that makes that a whole different song for somebody. But for me, it's this one thing. For somebody else, it's just that thing. That's how music works.
That's the good appeal of it, right? If it's got that appeal that can appeal to more than one person, it means something completely different to another, man.
Yeah. So for me, it was, what am I going to do? Where am I going to end up? And for her, it was sort of an affirmation of like, I've got all these great people around me.
That's awesome. I
was like, well, that's cool. So that's this song.
Well, I woke up this morning and to myself, what a beautiful way to sit on the shelf and wait life just to pass me by. All my colors fade from green to red. I don't know if I'm alive or dead, but I can still feel you breathe. Sit back and I count the crows and wonder which way the wind will blow for me. I scream at the top of my lungs. Wait for me, wait for me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, 'cause I don't know which way that I should go. Wait for me, wait for me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, 'cause I don't know which way that I should go. 'Cause I'm already gone. It's another day of being alone. I don't have a place I can call my own, and I wait for friends I don't have to call. Sit back and I stare at the sky, ponder questions and I wonder why I am here at all. Fall down onto my knees, I cross my arms, I began to plead that you can please hear me scream. Wait for me, wait for me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, 'cause I don't know which way I should go. Wait for me, wait for me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, 'cause I don't know which way that I should go. 'Cause I'm already gone. Now I'm already gone. Now I'm already gone. Now I'm already gone. 'Cause I'm already gone. Now I'm already gone. Now I'm already gone. Now I'm already gone. So wait for me, wait for me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, 'cause I don't know which way that I should go. 'Cause I'm already gone.
And this is the same for me, but your taste has kind of evolved, right? Going from the hair bands of the late 80s, to what it is today, more in the more singer-songwriter type of vibe. So how's that affected the way because I hear this song, you said this is a 20-year-old song or whatever, but it's still got good lyric and that kind of vibe. But how is that change of what you like and what you resonate with influenced how you write songs?
I think it's I don't know why I thought about this, but it was last week I was just sitting, one of my favorite things is just sit and scroll and listen to music, right? Just, stuff outside the genre, just weird. I'm just trying to find something, that kind of hits with me. And then, so when I was younger, it was more about like the drums or the music. How does that hit you kind of thing, right?
Same here, man.
And then, so that's sort of you gravitate. And then the lyrics were sort of like the tail end of something or the story about it. It didn't really matter to me so much. And then as you get a little older, I can listen to the same songs to where I liked the music part of it, but then I paid more attention to the words. And then I either like it better now because of the context or it's just something else. So as I get older, I'm listening for the story and just to see if there's something that I can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very comforting when I hear somebody say something that I wanted to articulate that I couldn't. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I have this thing that I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. But I can hear it in a song. I'm like, oh God, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, please. All right, that's exactly what I was looking for. And then it's sort of that, you know, whenever you resolve the song to like the one, you know, and it just sort of evens everything out. When you hear that for yourself, or when you're listening, you hear that thing, you're like, oh God, okay, I can let that go now because somebody else said it or feels it and does that kind of thing. And that's what I look for. And
It's like catharsis through other people's music.
It is, and cool. I can find it. It's not necessarily the genre. I mean, obviously, there's things that I sort of gravitate towards. You know, I play guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but you know, music is it's not a passive thing for me. Like,
yeah.
I'm very critical. Like when I'm listening to stuff, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
all right, I wonder, okay, what kind of mic did they put on there?
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
or where's that?
Yeah, too.
So there's all this other stuff that goes on with it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if there's a song that can take me away from wondering how they recorded it or what type of guitar it was, and then I'm just listening to the music, then to me that's like, oh, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
That's the way to. So it's maybe not the taste, but how I interact with it as I get older is a lot different.
All right, let's do another one. What do you want to do next?
Let's see, what did I put on that list? There was oh yeah, this one right here. So I wrote. It took me 30 years to write this song.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's, you know, the introspective thing, and it's called If I Knew Now, or What I Know Then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about that, you know, you want the music thing so bad, or at least I did, and you go out and you do it. And then it's that flip side. Okay, well, what would have happened if I did get all the stuff that I wanted to back in my 20s? If we became super famous, if I got all the money, if I did all that stuff, where would I be right now? I wouldn't have the children that I have. I wouldn't have the life that I have now. And is that really better? And, you know, when I look back on that, if you'd asked me when I was 20, I would have told you, absolutely, yeah, that's what I want. I want all that stuff.
Yeah.
You ask me now, and I'll tell you, absolutely not.
Right.
I don't want all that stuff.
I
want this thing.
Isn't it funny too? While you're in the pursuit of these things, you're basically torturing yourself and sometimes getting resentful because it's not going the way that you want to do. And all along, this path is taking you towards probably where you need to be in the first place.
I am a firm believer in that you sort of end up where you need to end up, or things happen the way they need to, kind of thing.
Same here.
I really think that. So that's what this song is about. So awesome. Every time that I play a song live, I tell them, I go, here's a song about how my children ruined my life. So
take it away.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here just thinking, I've been wasting too much time, chasing down all these rainbows, my head down just running blind. But if I knew then what I know now, well, I'd be writing songs everybody sings, gold watches and diamond rings, with fancy parties in the Hollywood Hills. A big star on your radio, living life out on the road, getting whiskey bent and hellbound. If I knew then what I know now. I've been sitting here just thinking, maybe it's all not that bad. I ain't got no gold records on my wall, but I've got 3 girls that call me dad. And I would have missed it all if I was writing songs everybody sings, gold watches and diamond rings, with fancy parties in the Hollywood Hills. A big star on your radio, living life out on the road, getting whiskey bent and hellbound. If I knew then what I know now, giving up the chance to do what I do it knowing damn well how this story ends. If I was writing songs everybody sings, gold watches and diamond rings, with fancy parties in the Hollywood Hills, a big star on your radio, living life out on the road, getting whiskey bent in hell bound, getting whiskey bent in hell bound. If I knew then what I know now, if I knew then what I know now, if I knew then what I know now.
Man, that song got me.
Right?
That song got me, dude. It did. I've got 2 kids, and when you had that line about dad, that dad line, man, that turned me in, man. That got me.
I tell you that when I was writing the song, that line just kind of came out, and then I stopped. I literally stopped after that. I thought to myself, that's probably the best line that I will ever.
It hit me right away, man. I was like, geez.
Right.
It's crazy because I don't know what is it about that. It's like because I feel the same way when I was in a band, and when you're you're doing your art, whatever your craft is, music, and you want it to succeed, but you have this idea of what that means. Like, what does that mean? You can still play guitar. You can still do that, have that outlet without feeling like you need the recognition. But what is it about the need and validation for that recognition for the money? Like that makes you become bitter if it doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think musicians sort of all feel this way. I think we get to a point to where we see other musicians who have made it or are doing the thing that we want. And we're like, I'm just as good as that guy.
Yeah.
Or better. Like, why did I not get it? And then I got upset for a while, for a little bit of it. But I just think it takes those years of being able to look back and go, okay, well, if that did happen, then I wouldn't have this. And then, it's that whole life's perspective that kind of gets it into thing. And then, but for me, success has changed. In my 20s, success was about, playing 200 shows and being able to, afford this or buy a car, do that and play music and not have to work a real job. And then now success for me is, can I go out and play a couple times a month and be able to satiate that sort of need to kind of do that thing? And did somebody come up to me afterwards and go, man, I really like that. That's really all it takes for me now is just to have one person come and say, hey man, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then that was it, and I can go home right after the $20 I made or whatever, and the 6 hours it took me to do this show, right? But to have that one person just be like, man, that was good, man. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I believe that at some point, that's the reason that we all sort of do it, is just, I write these songs because I feel the need to perform. I don't really have a good reason for it. Like I'm not out on the street as, after I'm not going out there talking to, hey, everybody, how you doing?
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm keep to myself most of the time, but when you step on that stage, there's just that thing. Like I remember being in front, we did a tour with Motley Crue, and I remember being in front of 8,000 people, and I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool feeling. But I get that same feeling when I go play the bar for 15 people. It's that same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think success changes as you get older and what it means to do that kind of thing.
For sure.
So.
Awesome, man. All right. What do you want to do next?
Okay. I got one more. And I thought, because I asked my kids, I have 4 songs, like, what should I do? And then they're all over the place. And then they're like picking songs I ain't played in like 7 years. I'm like, I can't even play that on acoustic. I don't even know that. But there's a song that I've had that isn't on any of the albums. And it's, I think it's one of the sort of prettiest kind of things I've ever written. And I don't think I've ever played it on a show or a podcast. So I thought, okay, I'll do this. Cause then, 20 years from now, when the grandkids or something can surf the internet and they can find this and be like, oh, yeah.
That's great.
So that's why I chose this one. And it's, what's this one called? Home. It's just called Home.
You want to tell me the story behind this one?
Yeah, it's there was a time when we were doing the music thing, after that part where you get upset to where like things aren't going your way, you find other vices to kind of take that, whether it be, drinking or stuff like that. And for me, it was drinking too much and doing that kind of stuff. And then, not being the kind of person that you should be for the immediate people that you have in your family. And this is about that sort of, you know, travels from going from that person that you shouldn't be to, you know, asking for forgiveness and doing the stuff from the people that are there to the part that's at the end so that you can finally come home and be the person you need to be.
Say these roads lead you home. I think I got my directions wrong. You got problems, yeah, well, I've got a few. Maybe someday I can share them with you. But I ain't trying to erase all I've done wrong. I know I'm sorry, doesn't make it all go away. And I keep trying to get a little better every day. So when I make it home, I can hear you say, I want you to stay. They say time heals the wounds. I don't know right now when it comes to you. And I know you don't owe me now. I just hope you can forgive me somehow. 'Cause I ain't trying to erase all I've done wrong. I know I'm sorry, doesn't make it all go away. I keep trying to get a little better every day. So when I make it home, I can hear you say. So when I make it home, I can hear you say, I want you to stay. Yeah. I want you to stay. Yeah. Just stay. Yeah. I want you to stay. Yeah. I ain't trying to erase all I've done wrong. I know I'm sorry, doesn't make it all go away. I keep trying to get a little better every day. So when I make it home, I can hear you say, I want you to stay.
Stylistically,
Yeah.
you probably had your gamut of what your favorite acts were over the years.
Mm-hmm.
What are your five? If you had to choose like your five of all time,
Okay.
who are your top? Who are in your top five?
Top five.
Top five.
Okay. All right. One of them is almost the same, but Tonic, the band Tonic.
Nice.
One of my all-time good music, good writing. And then the singer for that band did solo stuff. His name is Emerson Hart, and his solo stuff is so good.
Nice. I'll have to check that out.
So good. I just love everything about it. That'd be like my dream thing. Like if I could go write a song with that dude, I'm going to do it one of these days. he lives in Nashville. I know he lives in Nashville, so I'm going to go check him out. Blackberry Smoke is...
Never even heard of them.
Oh my God. So good. Just so good. Songwriting, amazing. Guitar playing, amazing. As a matter of fact, I'm in a Blackberry Smoke tribute band.
Oh, no way.
This is how much I like them. So, and then, you know, kind of going back to my roots, I know it's going to sound crazy, but Roy Clark. When I first picked up a guitar, I had a Roy Clark big chord book, and then I had no idea who that was. And then I would go watch him play. That dude is insane. So good. And then, who else? You said five?
Yeah.
that's 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah,
that's
and
4.
more.
So
If
one
you got
more.
it, but yeah.
You know, the thing that Slash was kind of that. You
Like
know,
guitar aspiration.
You know, when you see like, you know, you watch the videos of like when Guns N' Roses came out, because I was sort of right in my, 12, 13 kind of thing, like when it came out, sort of my musical thing. So when you see that, you're like, yeah, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah. Was it Use Your Illusion, that two album CD that I listened to? I listened to that a whole bunch when I was younger.
Yeah.
It's on the soundtrack of Terminator 2,
That's
one of my
right.
favorite movies.
That's
I like whenever that song plays and they're on the motorcycle, I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, dun, 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 dun. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming, man. I'm gonna link your socials on there, and I really appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for
That's
coming,
awesome,
man.
dude.
It was
Thank you so
awesome,
much.
dude.
Appreciate it.
Really good stuff.
Thank you.
You got a great voice, dude.
Thanks.
Good stuff.